My countrymen, this is Eli Velis Pamatong, President of the Republic of the Philippines. And tonight I have come to share with you my thoughts about the world and about the country. Particularly my plan to pursue the recovery of our gold bars from the United States of America to help the Filipino people. But before I proceed to the main topic of my message to you tonight, I would like to go back a little bit to what I have mentioned in my previous recording. In my previous recordings, I mentioned about the fact that we have been brainwashed into believing the verses in a satanic Bible. And I mentioned several satanic practices that should not be followed because it does not help anyone. It does not help the country. It does not help mankind. Like eating our children, smashing our children against the rocks, boiling and eating them, making love to our sisters, making love to our daughters, eating the flesh of a person, drinking the blood of a person, drinking the urine of a person. This Bible, the Christian Bible, is an evil book. Evil book. But aside from that, I think the most tragic provision in the Bible, the most satanic provision in the Bible, if I may call it satanic, is Malachi 3:10. Malachi 3:10, where God allegedly told you to give 10% of your income to the church, to God. Without that provision, Malachi 3:10, well, I don't think there will be charlatans milking the people. I don't think there will be that many churches in the Philippines. Like in the Philippines, we have more than 3,000 denominations. And they are there, I think, mainly because of Malachi 3:10, where the people are asked to give 10% of their income to the church. But that money will not go to God. God has everything. The pastor or the priest will get that money. That is the provision which, if deleted, will, I think, reduce the number of churches in the Philippines to the minimum. Of course, there will still be what we call offerings, but 10% is big enough to make these churches rich. The founders, billionaires like Manalo, Villanueva, Bilardi, Soriano, and the church like Bilardi. So again, I wish that someday the Bible will be changed. I mean, the bad provisions in the Bible will be removed, and the good ones, of course, should be retained for those who are used to following the Bible. And I suggested in my previous recording that we suspend the operations of the church until all these bad provisions, these evil provisions are removed or deleted from the Bible. And once they're all removed, then the Christian churches can go back to operations. Because for now, it's kind of dangerous. I mean, it has destroyed our civilization in the Philippines for the last 500 years. It has destroyed the Christendom, the civilization of the Christians for the last 2,000 years. And it's going on. On the other hand, I mentioned about organizing a world movement for peace, because I think in the other previous recording, I mentioned about the continuing invention of nuclear bombs, like Satan 2, which is 400 times more powerful than the bombs that exploded in Nagasaki and Hiroshima, 400 times. And then after that, there is another bomb, Char Bomba, which is 1,000 times more powerful than Satan 2. And there are, of course, more bombs in America than in Russia. I think the Americans have 1,200 atomic bombs. I mean, 1,000, yeah, about 12,000 atomic bombs, whereas Russia has about 6,000. And this is more than enough, and these are more than enough to destroy the world. And so I was planning to organize, should I be given a chance to become full-fledged president, I was planning to organize a world movement against nuclear armaments, a world movement for peace, so that we can eliminate the danger of mass destruction. What we have now between America and the Russians and China is what we call mutually assured destruction. MAD, mutually assured destruction. If you destroy me, I can destroy you. But of course, they have not exploded any atomic bomb against anyone after Nagasaki, because they know that if you explode a bomb, the radioactive elements will go to the clouds. It will be carried by the clouds, and when it rains in your country, the radioactive elements will also fall upon your people. That's why they are afraid to use the bombs that they have made. They are just using that to terrorize smaller nations and to terrorize other nations. I'm planning to organize a world organization for peace and against nuclear warfare. I plan to name it Orphan. This is just a suggestion to those who would like to help me. Orphan. It's one regime for peace and avoidance of nuclear destruction. One regime for peace and avoidance of nuclear destruction. If you have better suggestions, you in Africa and Asia or other countries, please upload your suggested names so we can meet sometime in the future and organize one world government against nuclear armaments and an organization for peace. There are about more than 340 nations in the world, about 200 members of the United Nations, but not all are members. I intend to visit all these countries if I become full-fledged president. I can use our jet plane. I think we will still have that once the goes away. And I will visit all countries in the world. That will take me more than 340 days because there are 340 countries. But I would like to talk to every president and convince them to organize one regime for peace and avoidance of nuclear destruction. One regime for peace and avoidance of nuclear destruction. So that is my plan. Again, my plan is to convince all churches in the Philippines, Christian churches, to revise the Bible and remove all satanic provisions for the good of their children, for the good of all, and return to full operations only once their Bible has been revised. I am not against Christianity, but I am against the evil provisions in the Bible. In the meantime, I have written the Third Testament. If you like, I can give you free copies, maybe after the lockdown, because it's very difficult to travel now. I have thousands of copies of that, and I'm going to share. You don't have to buy from me. I'll give it to you. And that's my legacy to you. And so, that's it. Now I would like to talk about the gold bars in America, which America took from the Filipino people. You know, when the Spaniards came here, they wanted to find spices and gold. They found the spices, but they missed the gold. They were not able to find the gold. It was the Americans who found the gold. And I want to recover that gold. But again, before I focus on the gold bars that we have in America, countless gold bars at Fort Knox, located at Kentucky, United States of America. Countless gold bars. I would like to mention the fact that, like other countries, the Americans have been unfair to us. Of course, there is no country in the world that can be unfair, very fair to us. Every country that goes to another country goes to that country for a purpose of getting something from that country, not giving anything to that country. Well, they pretend to give, but actually they want something. No country gives disinterested favor on the other. There is always a quid pro quo. I give you this, you have to give me what I want from you. And that is what all countries in the past. No country that came to the Philippines has been very kind to us. The Spaniards exploited us, the Japanese exploited us, the Americans exploited us, the Chinese are exploiting us. It's one country after another exploiting the Filipinos. And I remember Hitler when he said, life is an everlasting struggle where one creature feeds on the other and where death of the weak implies life for the strong. It's a continuing process of one creature feeding on the other. One creature feeding on the other, from the plankton, the smallest plankton, smallest life in the sea, to the whales. They are feeding on each other. The small fish feeds on a smaller fish. And then the bigger fish feeds on that fish until it reaches the shark level or the level of the whales. So it's a one life eating another life. And it's just like other countries. They exploit us. The stronger countries exploit us. It's an exploitation of life by one another. By one stronger government against another. You know, happiness, progress is a luxury of the strong. The weak is always wrong, even if right. The strong is always right, even if wrong. Yung mali, palagi yung pobre. Tama, palagi yung mayaman. It's not fair, but life is like that. And God has given us the power to equalize or neutralize these things. The strength is inside us. And ito sa loob natin. It's in our mind. We can empower ourselves and neutralize or equalize the situation. And that is what I have been telling you. So, in the Philippines, I have decided to fight back against the unfairness that America has inflicted upon us, the injustice that America has inflicted upon us, the injustice that Spain has inflicted upon us, the injustice that the church has inflicted upon us, the injustice that China has inflicted upon us. On May 19, 2020, May 19, 2020, I think you will remember, I filed a case against Trump and the United States, which he represents, with the International People's Tribunal, asking for damages for many things, like the 500,000 Filipinos that America murdered during the time of the occupation, the killing of all the people in Samar in 1901, the murder or mass murder of all the people in Samar, the torture of Filipinos in different parts of the Philippines. And of course, the worst part that the Americans did in the Philippines, and I want you to remember this, on July 4, 1946, 20 million, remember, 20 million Filipinos were divested or stripped of their citizenship. Tinanggal yung citizenship sa 20 million Filipinos. Yung passport natin, wala lahat, milyon-milyon na wala. kasi meron tayong passport for 48 years. 20 million. Alam mo sa Amerika, maski one person lang, hindi pwedeng makuha yung citizenship, hindi pwedeng i-deport kung walang hearing. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So may hearing. Sa atin nilang persons yun, 20 million persons or more, tinanggal yung citizenship. And what is citizenship? It's the whole gamut of human rights. The whole system of human rights is incorporated in the word citizenship. All fundamental rights are incorporated in the word citizenship. And that was taken away from 20 million Filipinos in 1946, July 4, pursuant to Section 14 of Tidings MacDuffie Law, which was passed in 1934 and implemented on July 4, 1946. Yun, tinanggal. Walang bansa sa buong mundo na nakagawang ganyan. Even in Rome, na mayroong slavery, yung mga slave doon, kung napamahal na nila, binibigyan ng freedom. There was a ritual called manumission. They put the rod on the shoulder of the slave, and the master says, from now on, you're a free man. Wala. Dito sa halip na protektahan yung citizenship natin na mga Amerikano, tinanggal. Walang hearing. Walang niha-niho, balat tinanggal without any hearing at all. And that was the biggest blunder, the most heinous violation of human rights by the Americans. So, by mentioning this, hindi nyo masabi na ako ay pro-American, natuta na American. No, I am pro-American to the extent that America is fair to us and to other countries. But once America tramples on human rights, once America says the Filipinos are animals like Trump, I fight against America. And you remember that I burned the coffin of Trump in protest against that insult, saying that the Filipinos are animals and terrorists. After all the sacrifices that the Filipinos made for America, after all the sweat, blood, tears, and lives that the Filipinos sacrificed for America, tatawagin tayo ng terrorists and animals. During the Second World War, tayong panalo. 2 million namatay, only 15,000 yung patay nila. 2 million sa atin. Panalo tayo, pero inagaw ng Amerika yung karangalan. Sila ang kumuha sa credit, sila daw panalo, pero tayo ang panalo sa labanan dito sa Philippine soil. American soil yan noon. Tayo ang panalo. Maraming kinuha ang Amerika sa atin. Kinuha ang citizenship sa 20 million Filipinos. Kinuha ang karangalan natin. Kinuha yung mga gold natin sa Baguio. Kinuha yung whatever things na makuha nila. And natatalo tayo sa propaganda, kaya nga makita mo para silang mga santo di sa mundo. Pero abusado sila, tulad ng mga Kastila, tulad ng mga Katoliko, tulad ng mga Hapon. Yan, maabusado sila, tulad ng mga Insik. So, yung mga abuso ng Amerika, hayaan natin muna yan. Like yung, halimbawa, yung nasabi ko na, yung pinatay mga Pilipino sa Samar. Maski unggoy ka, kung mukhang tao ka, patayin ka. Maski bata, below 10 or above 10, patayin ka. Maski babae, patayin ka. Maski anong makita nila sa Samar, pinatay. In other places in the Philippines, pinapatay nila. Tulad yung matanda na nag-wave siya ng putik ng flag. Nag-wave, binaril pa rin doon sa ulo. At saka yung may babae doon, 2 bata, pinadidi niya, pinuntahan ng Amerikano, binabaril pala habang nagdidi yung mga bata. Ganun ka-cruel yung mga puti. Mga putang ina yan. But sabi mo sa akin, sabihin mo, bakit Pamatong pro-America ka? Well, to the extent that the Americans are fighting for freedom, I am for America. But to the point na Amerika ay inabuso tayo, lalabanan ko ang Amerika. Tulad yung pinailan ko ng complaint si Trump and the American people on May 20, 2020. No, May 29, 2020. Pinailan ko sa International People's Tribunal para sana makakamit tayong hustisya. Though up to now, walang action. So anyway, dahil ayaw kong sabog yung presentation ko sa inyo, gusto kong mag-focus sa mga gold bars doon sa Baguio na kinuha nila sa Pangalatok Mines and Benguet Mines doon sa Baguio. Kinuha nila, dinadala doon sa Amerika. Yung proseso na yon, yung process na yon, pagdala sa gold sa Amerika, tinago nila yon. Tinago nila. Pero alam mo, minsan yung usok, yung baho ay sumingaw. Mayroon nakalusot na mga photograph sa mga Amerikano na yung mga gold bars kasi mabigat masyado kung bulk yung dalhin doon. Minimay nila galing sa Manila o Baguio papunta sa San Francisco and papunta sa Fort Knox. Yan, Amerikano. Nakuha yan. Mayroon pang ibang mga litrato na hindi ko na makita pero mayroon akong maraming ganito. Ito ang proof na mga Amerikano walang permiso sa mga Filipino dinadala yung gold natin doon sa Fort Knox. Ito ang Fort Knox sa Kentucky. Yan, Fort Knox. Tingnan nyo mabuti kasi ang pinakamalaking deposit ng gold sa buong mundo andito sa Fort Knox. Talo yung vertical dito. Dito talaga ang pinakamaraming gold sa Fort Knox, Kentucky. At ang pinakamaraming gold dyan sa loob ng Fort Knox, ang gold ng Filipino. Gold ng Filipino ang pinakamarami dyan. At kung makuha natin yung gold dyan, we can live without doing anything. We just have to make love each other for the next 10 generations. Wala tayong kain na lang tayong kain. Magmahalan tayo sa isa't isa. Wala tayong gawin. Mabuhay tayo to the 10th generation. Kung bawiin natin yung mga gold doon sa Fort Knox. Ito pang isang litrato sa Fort Knox. Yan. Secured yan, masyado. Talagang fortified yan, mahirap pasokin yan. Maraming tanking nakapaligid yan. Hindi basta-basta magpasok yan. Dahil siyempre, yun ang pinakamalaking gold depository sa Amerika. Napakalaki talagang deposit yan. Ito ang mga gold na karamihan dyan atin. Kita nyo? Gold. Maniwala kayo, atin yung karamihan dyan. Dinadala dyan. Kaya tayo ay naghirap dahil the gold is in the wrong hands. The gold is in the wrong hands. Andun sa kanila, wala sa atin. Kung saan ay isauli nila ito, maski for 10 generations. The next 10 generations, hindi tayo ang trabaho. Magsayaw-sayaw lang tayo araw-araw dyan sa kalye. Buhay tayo. Sa atin yan. Ito, kita nyo yan. Yan. Yan, sa atin yan. Hindi ako nag-exaggerate, totoo yan. Tinatago ito ng Amerikano noon, pero siyempre nag-leak And kuha ko yung mga picture, iba. Sa atin yan. Gusto kong at least sa uli sa atin yung mga, sabihin natin na 90%. 10% bayad natin na inalagahan nila, dideposito nilang safe ang pagka-deposit sa Amerika. Na 10% okay na. Papayag na ako kung 10% sa kanila. 10-50% ibalik sa atin. Pero with 90% na ganon, abay, wala. Happy tayo. May kutsi tayong lahat. May bahay tayong lahat. Wala nang problema. Kung ibalik yung 90% yan, yan kita mo yung mga magandang gold. Sa atin yan. Hindi ako nag-exaggerate. Hindi ako nang loko sa inyo. Pwera lang kung na Amerika, ito pa. Yan, sa atin yan. Pyramid of gold. Sa atin yan. Ito. Yan. Hirap tingnan kung saan yung taas at saka sa yung baba. Yan, gold yan. Atin yan. Maraming gold sa atin. Nagsulat ako ng nagsulat. Hindi man ako pinansin. Ba't hindi ako pinansin? Hindi ako pinansin kasi wala akong kapangyarihan eh. Gawin niyo akong full-fledged president sa Pilipinas. I tell you, papansinin ako dyan. Kasi kung hindi ako pansinin sa kanila, gaganti ako. I will go around the world. Kausapin ko yung 340 nations. Maghingi akong tulong. Moderno na ngayon at saka marami nang marunong ngayon, marami nang edukado. I know that I can convince the 340 nations to support me in getting back what belongs to us na andyan sa Kentucky, andyan sa Fort Knox. Tutulong yan. At hindi lang yan. Gusto kong kukunin rin yung deposit ni General Moncado na sa atin yun. It was deposited, I think, in 1925. And as of 1978, ang pera doon ay 341 billion, 240 million. As of 1978, that was about 31 years ago, more or less, 43 years ago. Ang pera doon, 341 billion, 240 million, 43 years ago. And kung gusto ninyong ma-verify yung sinabi ko, baka akalahin nyo, nagbula ko, i-check ninyo sa Chase Manhattan Bank, yung account number 420960, account number 420960, Chase Manhattan Bank. And there is another account sa Sumitomo Bank. Hindi ko na maalala yung number, pero meron rin isa. Then meron pang deposit tayo sa investment sa Union Oil Company of California. Account number 300122. 300122 sa Union Oil Company of California. Check na yan. Milyon-milyon na yan. Meron pa tayong nakadeposit sa Maryland's Government Securities Incorporated. Account number 220281. 220281. 220281. Check na yan. Napakalaking pera yun. Siguro at this time, ang interest yan, 43 years ago, hanggang ngayon, ang interest sa 341 billion, 240 million, palagay ko, trillions na yun. Baka 2 trillion, 3 trillion dollars, or maybe 20 or 40 trillion pesos. Again, yun lang Moncado property. Wala na. Pwede magsayaw-sayaw tayo ng 10 years sa kalsada. Wala tayong trabaho. Wala. Mag-happy-happy na lang tayo para doon sa Roma na paligo-ligo doon sa beach. Pero ang pera sa Pilipinas, andoon sa kamay ng iba. Ngayon, sa Pilipinas, ngayon rin, gano'n. Ang pera sa Pilipinas ngayon, andoon sa kamay ng insect. It's in the wrong hands. In the wrong pocket. The money in the Philippines today is in the wrong pocket, and the women are in the wrong hands. Sa ibang kamay yung babae, sa atin pinilian na lang. Mga mumuho na lang, o sa Cebuano pa. Yun, ang kawawa tayo. Very, very sad ang situation. So, kailangan tulungan ninyo ako. Hindi ako nambubula. Kailangan tulungan niyo ako na maging full-fledged president sa Pilipinas. Kasi isummarize ko, gusto kong mag-organize ng World Organization Against Nuclear Armaments for Peace. And makuha ko lang yan, magawa ko lang yan, kung preditin ako kasi makaikot na ako sa 340 nations or more at konbinsihin ko yung mga tao na yun na magtayo tayong one world government. Kasi wala pa namang one world government Yung United Nations, hindi government yan. Organization lang yan of nations. We need a world government to control nuclear armaments, to control peace and order. We need peace to be able to progress. Because without peace, then if World War III will break out at the West Philippine Sea, patay tayo lahat. That's why I want to be a full-fledged president, because I know that given a chance to rise to the full-fledged presidency, I can convince the United Nations to stop the war at the West Philippine Sea. Napabayaan ng mga Filipino na kunin nila yung sariling mga isla nila. Kaya natin. But magsalig tayo sa Amerikano. But magdepende tayo sa Amerikano. Kaya naman natin eh. Halimbawa, anong gawin ko kung magawin akong maging full-fledged president ako? Anong gawin ko? Well, nasabi ko na. I will transform this nation into a warlike nation. Not talagang parang magpatay ng walang hustisya. Lahat ng Filipino gawin kong sundalo to defend their country, to defend their family, to defend themselves, to defend the Philippines against Malaysia, against China, against any country na pagsamantalaan tayo. So kung sundalo na lahat, sino ba mag-abuso sa atin? Aber, sagutin niyo ako. Kung sundalo na tayong lahat, may armas tayong lahat, kaya ba tayong matalo dito sa labanan sa ating bansa? Do you think the foreigners, the Chinese, no matter how big their army may be, can defeat us in our own soil, on Philippine soil? No. We will win that war like the Vietnamese won against the French in 1951, like how the French won against the United States in 1975, although at the time the United States decided to withdraw from Vietnam. So it was not really a total victory. But just the same, the United States withdrew because the Vietnamese people did not surrender, did not give up in protecting their homeland. That is what I want you to do. Help me. Help me build a 20 million to 50 million to 100 million soldiers so we can defend this country, we can cleanse this country from all types of corruption. We can purify this country and build a new system of belief in this country based on total honesty in public service. A new system of belief that believes that man is destined to eternity. Man is not destined to die. Man is not destined to follow their ancestors to their graveyards, but to rise to the purity and perfection of the gods and rule the heavens and the universe with God. Yun, tulungan ninyo ako. Kasi ang mga plano ko ay para sa inyo, hindi para sa akin. Para sa inyo. Yun nga, hanggang ngayon, hindi ako mayaman, nahihirapan ako. Naghingi pa ako ng gasolina sa mga tao ko. Gusto kong makita ninyo na hindi ako magnanakaw, maski nagtrabaho ako kay Ferdinand Marcos noon. Hindi ako nagnakaw doon. Kung nagnakaw pa ako, mas mayaman pa ako ni Henry C., mas mayaman pa ako ni Lucio Tan, mas mayaman pa ako ni Gokong Wei. But hindi ako nagnakaw. Dahil gusto kong purso ng buhay na walang masabi yung mga tao sa akin. Wala kayong makita masilip sa aking masama. Well, hindi naman ako perfect. Siguro, kung tingnan nyo yung closet ko, mayroong isang panty o dalawang panty doon, pero hindi naman marami. So, hindi ako perfect. Meron ako mga kasalanan na hindi ko naman isabi sa inyo dahil malakihin ninyo. Pagsamantalaan nyo yung sabihin ko. But I tried to live a life that you can be proud of. A life that is consistent with the life of a man who can be honored, who can be followed, who can be an example to the rest of the Filipino people. And so again, ulitin ko, meron tayong enough gold bars, countless gold bars doon sa Fort Knox sa Kentucky, na kung kunin natin yan, mas magsayaw-sayaw tayo, wala ng trabaho for 20 years. Hindi na kailangan. Kasi atin yun. At saka napakarami yun. But andun sa wrong bank, andun sa wrong place. Dapat ibalik yun dito. Papayag ako na kukuha ng certain percentage na ang Amerika. Pero dapat isauli sa atin kasi sa atin yun. Sa atin yun, hindi sa kanila. At kinuha nila, walang permiso sa atin. At magbayad dun silang damages sa mga Filipino na talagang inabuso nila. Biro mo, 20 million kinuhaan ng citizenship, walang kahiring-hiring. Maawa ka naman. Anong sabihin na ma-insik dito na kunin ko yung Filipino citizenship nila? walang hearing, tanggalin ko lahat. Do you think they will be happy? No. They would think I am very unfair. They are Filipino citizens, even if they are Chinese, and we must protect their citizenship, even if they are Chinese, because they are Filipino citizens. If that was the principle with Americans at the time, then we would still be Americans today, full-fledged American citizens. But tinanggal nila. At ngayon, we were treated after that worse than aliens. Kasi yung aliens, may right sa Amerika. Yung criminals, may right sa Amerika. Hindi ka ma-deport sa Amerika kung walang due process of law. But tayo, tinanggalan tayong citizenship and the whole gamut of civil and political rights natanggal sa atin without due process of law. Yun, could you imagine the magnitude, the gravity of the abuse committed by the American people to us? But again, hindi ko na mag-aksayahan ng panahon yan ngayon. Kasi wala akong power. But yung gold, maski gold na lang, isauli at saka i-release yung bangko, pera sa bangko na dyan sa pangalan ni General Moncado. Ako ang 5th or 4th Moncadian President, and I deserve to have custody of that money. So I will give that money to the Department of Education and Department of Health para tayong lahat may libreng edukasyon at libreng medisina. At saka yung gold bars doon, yung 90%, I will have control of that so that yung lahat ng mga kalsada natin simentado, lahat ng mga tao natin may bahay, lahat ng mga tao natin mayroong kotse, lahat ng mga tao natin maligaya. Yun. Sana tutulungan ninyo ako. I think hindi ko na pahabaan pa ito. But baka nagduda kayo kung kaya ba natin. Subukan natin. Subukan natin. Kasi paano natin malaman kung kaya ba, kung hindi, subukan. Minsan kung nasanay na tayo, ayaw na nating palitan yung sitwasyon dahil nasanay na tayo. Dapat subukan natin kung ano yun. Diyan sa unahan, diyan sa what lies ahead. Do not accept what's going on. Try to find out what's beyond the walls, what's beyond the horizon. Because there might be a new world out there. Puntahan natin. Let me close my message tonight by telling you an anecdote of a prisoner who was about to be hanged. Bibitayin na siya. Ay yung warden, tinawag yung prisoner. And yung anak ng warden, yung anak ng lalaki, andun katabi. Sabi ng warden doon sa prisoner, have you seen that rope there at the platform? Yes, sir. You know that tomorrow you will be hanged there? Yes, sir. Well, okay. I will give you a chance to live if you want, or to have a new life. A new life. Have you seen that door? Yes, sir. That door, that big door? Yes, sir. You can walk out of that door right now. And I will not hang you tomorrow. Why don't you go and walk through the door? And he said, no, sir. Hindi siya pumunta. Why? I want to be hanged tomorrow, sir. You will be asking me a question. Kayo nakinig sa akin, bakit hindi naman siya pumunta doon sa door at lumayas? He was not sure what lies behind the door. Baka isip niya, worst pa yung dyan, beyond the door. But what was beyond the door? Nagtanong yung bata, yung anak ng warden, Dad, what lies beyond that door? Sabi ng daddy niya, son, freedom, happiness, progress, a beautiful future. But that sanamagan did not cross or did not go through that door because he was afraid it might be worse than being hung tomorrow. That is a lesson for you to remember na may mga bagay na takot ka dahil baka worse pa sa nangyayari ngayon, but you don't know that beyond that door is a sunshine, is another world, another future for all of us. I think I have said enough. Thank you and good night.